Welcome back, fish keepers. Top of the Monday morning. Without further ado, fish tank review. Today I've got a treat for you guys. What do you think about when you hear TikTok fish keeping? Bad husbandry. WTF are these people doing out here? But did you know that it's possible? Yes, to have good fish keeping on the TikTok. How? Through knowledge and common sense. Not complicated. Here's TikTok, but good fish keeping. Let's get it.
Let's build the ultimate betta tank.
I'm already excited. Top of the Monday morning, y'all.
Let me show you how I did it. We're starting off with a rimless 10-gallon aquarium and using a nutrient-rich substrate.
That's jazz, bro. Some of y'all don't like jazz. That's fine.
For our hardscape, we're using Black Mountain Sirius stone and some beautiful pieces of driftwood.
Black Mountain what?
Next, we gotta fill up our tank before we start planting. But we gotta dechlorinate our tap water, so I'm using Aqua Essential by API.
I mean, API, not my go-to product. It's whatever, it gets the job done. You don't have to be too picky with your water conditioners. Personally, I use Prime, but I've also used everything under the sun at one point. And they all work fine as long as they get rid of your chlorines, chloramines, and heavy metals.
Next, we gotta fill up our tank before we start planting. I'm using a variety of really easy anubias as well as some nice stem plants in this tank.
You don't have to plant after you fill up the water, but it does help with plants, especially like anubias, because they're prone to drying out if they're not in the water. I have some anubias die when I had it in the tank without having it filled with water, so it just dries out in a matter of like 10 minutes. This person probably learned from experience as well, so they know exactly like what they like to do and what they don't like to do just to minimize loss. We got some amazing stem plants in here. The detailing of the wood. I like that they didn't use any strings or glue, because a lot of people tell you can use that, but you know what's better? Just sticking these rhizomal plants into some crevices that you see. And even the CO2, that Monte Carlo is very lucky.
But before our tank is ready for our fish, we have to cycle it. And to speed up our cycle, we're gonna use Quick Start to add some beneficial bacteria.
So there's some like myths going on about this, and a lot of people like using beneficial bacteria dosing to start a fish tank cycle. A lot of people don't believe in it. I mean, there's nothing not to believe in. It's literally beneficial bacteria. So the only thing is it could be a little unnecessary, because if you have another tank, if this is not your first ever tank you're setting up, you might have some filter media you can transfer to this filter that you're starting. A lot of people forget that plants come from aquariums that already have beneficial bacteria.
And this is the lucky lady going into the tank, my female crown tail. To help maintain the tank, we're going to use Stress Lime, which is another bacterial additive, along with regular water changes.
That is super cool. I don't think I've ever owned a female crown tail. I think just because the crown tail kind of looks awesome in a male betta fish. However, I don't like male betta fish, so I just go for a short fin, normal, whatever female that needs rescuing.
And this girl can get her first meal in her new tank. I'm really happy with how this tank turned out, and it really is the ultimate betta tank. Let me know what you guys think.
I love the coloration of this betta fish, and indeed, this is a very lucky betta fish.
Stress Lime, which is another bacterial additive.
I don't think that's technically necessary. Again, I think it works to an extent. I have zero preference between using it and not using it, which usually just means don't use it then, because it's a waste of your time and resource. Hey guys, quick pause. This episode is brought to you by one of my favorite sponsors of all time, the Invasive Species Center. Do you know what I love more than having fish tanks at home? Having fish tanks at home without a guilty conscience. This year, the Don't Let It Loose campaign is focusing on the marbled crayfish. This species can be quite popular in our fish keeping hobby, but it is crazy invasive when accidentally introduced into our local environment and ecosystems. And that's partly due to their insane reproductive abilities. These guys are parthenogenic. That means they're all female and that they're all clones of each other, just like the morning gecko. They do not need no man to make hundreds of babies in your aquarium. So, as you can probably guess, just one of them in your aquarium can easily overpopulate the whole thing. And then the fish keepers don't know what to do with all these new crayfish. So maybe they'll dump it down the toilet or dump it into their local pond or lake. Big mistake. Huge. This is perfect timing to raise awareness, because sometimes the best way to protect our environment is to prevent the invasive thing from getting there in the first place. In Canada, the marbled crayfish has not yet taken over many ecosystems, but in places like Madagascar, it hasn't been that lucky. The marbled crayfish have reportedly been decimating their fish numbers because they can go after the young and small fish. They've even damaged vegetation and agriculture, and they can carry this disease around called crayfish plague. That sounds like a horror movie for crayfish everywhere. This is a crucial time to start spreading awareness to not continue getting these marbled crayfish from the store or trading them, and especially not to let them loose. Click on the link in the description and comments below to find out more on how you can help manage this situation. There's no one better than fish keepers like you and me to help this cause. Beautiful rimless with a twin star light up top, I believe. We got some nutrient-rich substrate in the back, and then very strong round stones aquascape in the front, kind of delineating the separation between the white sand and the planted gorgeous backdrop. Holy crap, that is insane. I love the colors, I love the shapes of the rounded river stones. The detailing in the front is magnificent. The planting, it's bushy, it's airy. This is such a clean build, not overstocked. And something like this is super simple as well. I'm gonna have to do one of these builds in the future. I just know it. It's such a beginner-friendly scape. There's only a few steps, and this short little video showcases all the steps. You can do it right now if you wanted to. It's always such an amazing concept whenever it's accessible, especially to beginners. The more accessible it is, the more amazing the scape is. Not to take away from the super advanced, like highly technical and detailed scapes that take hours and maybe even days and weeks to prepare and complete. But there's just something about manipulating beginner-friendly techniques to create something spectacular that everyone has access to. All right, Mike left a comment saying, show us a nitrate test of your tanks. I think this was under a video where I mentioned that all my tanks are like no water change, only water top-ups because it's the Wallstead method. Bro, Mike really out here doubting me? You must not know me. Let me show you. I usually have a lot of floaters in here, but I like to take them out to give the plants down there some breathing room with extra light. But man, I got these ready on deck all day. Why are you even asking about nitrate anyway? Plants need nitrates to grow. Look at this. I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna give you nitrite and ammonia. I got no fear. We got the 30 seconds dip in there. 3 seconds dip. 1, 2, 3, boom. I mean, no contest, right? You can pause it right here. Y'all must not know me. My tanks are ready. Let me show you something else. This is my Endler's breeding tank. I've got shrimp breeding in here as well. This is no water change, bro. Massive pothos roots, a lot of floaters. Not even heavy flow action here. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Don't know what to tell you. I mean, honestly, bro, I don't blame you for this one. But one look at this tank and you can't tell me the mechanics of why this doesn't need a water change? Just kidding, Mike. Love you. Okay, so this guy is showcasing a method where they add more substrate to an already established and complete aquascape, and it is a wonderful method because I get a lot of questions from people saying like, hey, I want to, like, I saw your video about, you know, capping certain substrates with sand, and this is a wonderful way and a very easy and simple way to actually try and not destroy the whole scape, not start from zero, not disturb much in your tank, and just simply fill up an empty water bottle that everyone has access to with the substrate you're trying to refill. Let the air flow out, let the water fill in, maybe even cap your thumb on it like this guy does, and slowly bring it down to the bottom and let it out at the bottom. Perfect technique. Can I just say I'm enjoying this episode of Fish Tank Review a lot. This is like a break, a Hail Mary, a grace period, if you will, in between horrible fish tanks and other horrible fish tanks. This is a treat for me. Hopefully it's a treat for you as well. Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this change of pace.
Here are 5 fish keeping mistakes I wish I avoided.
Let's see if I agree with them.
Buying a bunch of different tanks when I could have just spent my money on one really nice tank.
I don't necessarily think that is a beginner mistake, because when I was a beginner, I sure as heck was not investing in all these different tanks. However, I think it's more of an intermediate mistake. Once you get out of that beginner zone, you kind of want to venture into more tanks. And then you get multiple tank syndrome. And at least for me, I found myself in this exact situation where I had a bunch of tanks that didn't look particularly finished for myself and my liking. A little trick, a little hack is to kind of sleep on it for like a week, not just a day. And imagine you did already get a new tank. Just imagine it for that week before you purchase it. Live with it in your head. And then just imagine, instead of getting that new tank, all those resources went into this existing tank. If you feel the satisfaction, that might be the universe telling you something you should know.
Number 2 is skipping water change day. It's fine at first, but it'll sneak up on you.
Yeah, I agree with that for beginners who are not into the Wallstead method. I mean, there's a reason why I've been highly recommending water changes since the dawn of this channel. You can't get away without it, not in those conditions.
Number 3 is I ran my lights for way too long when I really only needed 6 to 8 hours of light a day.
So that brings me back to working at PetSmart. I think I've told this story like a couple times, maybe 3, maybe 4. It's basically when every day or every other day, some customers come in and they're like, my tank is filled with algae, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And the first thing I always ask them, how long is your light on for? And they're like, puzzled, they're confused. They're like, what do you mean? It's always on. What do you mean, how long is it on for? 24 hours. Bingo, bango, that's why. Like, what I want to say is, does the sun not turn off for you? Do you live in, where do you live that the sun never turns off? Antarctica? Of course, I don't say that because I want to keep my job, although I should have probably said that on my last day. This is a mistake beginner to intermediates make. Transitioning into intermediate, you would fix this mistake by getting a timer. 6 to 8 hours on a timer. And is one of the easiest, lowest hanging fruits.
Number 4 is using filter cartridges with carbon in them. Carbon isn't really beginner friendly or necessary.
I like how there is that little note there that kind of tells you why, kind of explains it in a very fast way. And yeah, I completely agree with this tip. I don't think I've ever used activated carbon cartridges. It is just not necessary.
Number 5 is not fertilizing my plants. They need nutrition in order to survive, not just light.
Yeah, perfect. Although that sort of doesn't help because you might make people think that you need to dose something right on top of the leaves. You don't have to do that at all. Freshwater plants are not corals, right? So
Today I'm going to show you how to set up a small fish tank for a betta fish. You take your small fish tank, you get a hammer, and you smash it. Then you get at least a 5-gallon fish tank for your betta. Put some live plants in there.
that kind of reminds me of this, probably my most viral fish tank video on my channel.
Say my husband gets the fish tank of his dreams. He's been wanting this for quite some time. Tetras and guppies, and we're thinking of also adding snails and shrimp, but we're not really sure about that yet. A couple weeks ago, we went to an aquarium and our son was just as obsessed with fish as my husband is, so that is kind of what helped me decide to get one. We are open to any tips that you guys have, but we are super excited to start this journey. Be sure to follow along.
So many green flags. Look at the size of their tank. I don't care about the aquascape. Not when it comes to this. They got a child. They got way more things to worry about than like live plants. And they got amazing husbandry here. They're only gonna put guppies and like tetras, some shrimp, some snails. The size of the tank really does a lot. And they're open to tips. That is a very important thing. 5 out of 5 TikTok video. You'll never guess what we found in this customer's fish tank filter. I mean, if I'm surprised at all these days, it must be a really good surprise. Oh, gunk is what you found, which is okay. Gunk in a filter is okay. Your filter doesn't have to be pristine. Oh no, okay, that's a weather loach or dodo loach. Bruh, how in the world? How did you even know that it was in there, by the way? Hopefully this wasn't planted. So I've shown this in a previous FTR a long time ago where I was showcasing some good TikTok videos, and it's just so good that when I stumbled upon it again, you guys just have to see this. I just need to show you guys. For those of you who didn't see it the last time, this is still the best shrimp bowl I've ever seen in my life. It's like a valley. It's so natural. And how do you know that it's tip-top husbandry for shrimp? Look at the numbers. They're going buck wild in there. They're like rabbits up in there. If you don't got proper husbandry, you're not in the mood to mate either. This has happened many times, although I don't have a tank that looks gorgeous like that, but I do have the shared experience of getting my face slapped with water. Me wondering why my tank is looking damn clean today. I don't know. What is this sound, bro? TikTok has the most random sound sometimes. Are you giving the cherry shrimp too much credit here? It's the Amano shrimp that I would replace the cherry shrimp with in this situation. Experiences may vary. This tank looks spotless, so I'm not one to, I'm not one to say nothing about it. This guy knows more than me. Maybe I just got myself like horrible work ethic cherry shrimp. It already looks very beautiful. That looks amazing. Okay, well, that's a whole different tank. Look at the Pogo Stemon. Holy crap. Look at the carpet. The colors, the textures are insane. I like both, actually. It's not necessarily like a no diff, like second version of the tank. The grown out tank wins. No, although the grown out tank is magnificent, breathtaking, very impressive. But the first tank, to me, it feels more natural. So here we can just see a couple, or a couple friends maybe, I don't know if this platonic or not. We're not here to discuss that. What am I doing? They are just working on filling up the top of this very big aquarium with pothos cutting. And it's one of the most satisfying things to reuse your pothos cuttings instead of throwing it away. And the scape itself, the big tank itself looks amazing. There's natural wood in it. It looks kind of, looks like it's infused with tannins, so it's kind of Blackwater-esque. They've got some dither fish. I don't see super big fish. There's no arowana in it just because it's a bigger tank. And the other tanks look very juiced up as well. Got very natural light. I don't know what is going on up top. I'm not sure what kind of light they got going on, but it's filling out the room quite spectacularly. I love this. This is an amazing date idea. Not saying they're dating. Maybe they're married. I don't know. I don't know their romantic situation. Why am I even coming? Why do I? Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome back to the end of the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button. There'll be more videos to come. did you think I was gonna forget?
Katwa.
What is your favorite winter pastime? Now, if you enjoyed this episode, please smash that like button and subscribe. There'll be more videos to come, and don't forget to get your mom wet. Tetra, 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 we in a spot, coming in hot. Ventral fin dot, acclimate that. With my shoal act, clear my fin rod from Cariciformes to Paracharodon. Hold on, there's not another fish that you can wish for. Lit fam sus, I finna one. I finna gone 3 days without furt. I'm an addict, like fanatic. I'm a baddest, no tabs, only dirt. My Corey gang so loyal, black tetra go skirt. We came to play, came to silence, gang.